Welcome back. Let's get started in conquering those fears, that guilt, and that anxiety. In this video, we're going to talk about how to manage stress related to those negative emotions such as fear, guilt, shame, and anxiety. These emotions may be the hardest part of speaking up for yourself. It's these negative emotions that hold you back from taking action. And just like public speaking, extensive practice and the usage of certain techniques can really help you reduce and manage those fears, but it might never completely go away. And we don't want it to completely go away either, because that fear has a purpose in your life. It allows you to recognize real threats and to do something about it. It's our instinctive fight or flight reactions. So here are some things that you can do to help reduce and manage the fear and anxiety. Number 1, identify the emotion. In order to identify the emotion, you need to first realize it's there. If you suddenly feel uneasy and unhappy or emotional about something, even if you quite can't get your head around it, ask yourself, what would I call this? Is it guilt? Is it anger, sadness, fear, distress, regret, embarrassment, shame, anxiety? What is it? You can refer to the PDF with a list of emotions included in the course to facilitate this process. Feeling guilty. Thank the guilt for doing its job and then wish it goodbye and let it go. Number 2, with the emotion identified, now you can ask yourself why you're feeling that emotion. Identify the belief associated with it. Usually it's a belief. It could be one of the beliefs that we discussed earlier, such as bad, selfish person, or rejected, not loved, or others should take care of me. Or it could be a different belief. For example, you're feeling guilty because you want and are entitled to take time off, but it would be selfish to do so because your colleagues would have to work hard during your absence, harder to compensate for you being out. Question that belief. Does it make sense? Is it helping you? If not, replace it with something else like, I will always take care of my needs first, while still being respectful to others. Belief number 3. Look at it from someone else's perspective. Ask a friend what they think about the situation, or ask yourself if someone you know and like were in the same situation. If they told you that they felt guilty and asked for advice, what would you do? What would you tell them? In the previous example, you might say, you should ask for time off. I mean, you need time off. We all need time off. It's right, it's important to you. Don't worry about the rest. At some point, everybody else is going to have to take time off and you're going to be working harder. So it's just a balance. It's fine. Number 4, focus on something else. And it could be preferably something like a physical activity for a few minutes. Physical activities are great to clear your mind and release your tension. You can go for a brisk walk around the building. I know some people that like to do that. You can exercise if you can. You can simply breathe deeply and slowly a few times. Nobody's going to see you do that. I like to put on high energy music that really calms me down because I can focus on the beats and lyrics. But find your own way of handling it. Number 5, examine alternative intentions the other person may have. So if someone appears to be attacking you in public, think about the possibilities other than them wanting to hurt you, of it being intentional. Perhaps they're having personal problems or having a bad day. Perhaps they don't have very good control over their emotions, and trust me, it's very common. And they just want to vent off with whoever is in front of them. And you happen to be there. In other words, it might not be about you, but instead about them. 6, focus on the outcome you want to achieve rather than on what others may think of you. Think about how great you would feel achieving that outcome. 7, remind yourself that each person is responsible for their own actions. You have control over your behavior and decisions, and others have control over their own behaviors and decisions, unless, again, we're talking about child, but unless it's a child, but for adults should be responsible for their own actions. If you ask for something, they can say no. If they attack you, then you can decide how to respond. 8, establish a learning mindset. Remember, one of the best ways to learn is by doing. We can only get better by taking action. So if you focus on learning, you can tolerate any eventual mistakes you make a lot better because you have that learning mindset. And finally, this one, practice, practice, practice. Like most uncomfortable situations in life, which are generally unknown or unfamiliar situations, once you expose yourself to it a few times, you can eventually gain more comfort. It will become easier and easier to do, less stressful over time. These are just some strategies you can use, but there are many other ways you can relieve stress and negative emotions. So there's the summary of the 9 different things you can do to manage negative emotions. Now it's your turn to identify your stress relief preferences. So answer the short quiz on how you can relieve those negative emotions without avoiding the difficult situations. And I will see you in the next video.